computer. Welcome to Amud Yomi Shiur. Kiddushin and Ches Amud Beis. We are now in Isuch Shavuos, Daf Ein Ches Amud Beis. We are starting with the very, very bottom of Ein Ches Amud Aleph. This is where we are. That's where the issue begins. The pasuk that we are now discussing in the Gemara, the pasuk in the issue, is the pasuk that tells us from Yechezkel, the pasuk that describes the prohibition of Kohanim to marry the descendants of geirim. Yeah, well, possibly a Kohen, besides the prohibition to marry a zoino, which may also include a geiris above 3. Besides that, a girl who was born to geirim parents may also be prohibited from marrying a Kohen, and vice versa. Because why? The pasuk says, let's read the pasuk from Ein Ches Amud Beis in the bottom of the page. It says there, yeah, it says Almona grush lo yikchu lahem lenoshim ki im besulos mizera beis Yisrael. Yeah, they should not take for them the women unless they are besulos from zera beis Yisrael. What's zera beis Yisrael? We had 4 different opinions. Zera beis Yisrael either means that if one of the parents is a ger, it's already a problem, right? Let's say the father surely, according to the first opinion, is a problem if he's a ger, even if the mother is Jewish. The second opinion says zera beis Yisrael means that as long as there is any zera beis Yisrael, it's okay. So even if the mother is born Jewish and the father is a ger, that is already okay. Then the third opinion is Rabbi Yossi. Rabbi Yossi said, Misha Nizra u'mi Yisrael. Rabbi Yossi says, if both parents were Megayer before the girl was conceived, then it's fine, right? Even though they're both geirim. And by the way, this can create a very funny situation. You can have one family of geirim, the one sister cannot marry a Kohen, and one can marry a Kohen, right? Let's say one of them was they were Megayer when the mother Gioiris was pregnant with Rochel. That's when they did the Giur. So she was conceived when they were Goyim and born when they were Jewish. So she cannot marry a Kohen, right? According to Rabbi Yossi. Bashein can a sister, Shprein Sabela, the younger sister, was conceived when they were Geirim, so she can marry a Kohen. Cool. The fourth opinion is Rab Shimon bar Yochai. Rab Shimon bar Yochai says that a woman who is what? A girl that was Megayer herself, the parents and her were Megayer before she was free, is fine. Yeah, that's okay. Why? Because she was Megayer before she became a woman. Yeah, the womanhood in a way is when she's 3 years old, that's when Bia applies. As long as Bia does not apply, there's no concept of Zoina, Bsula, the whole thing doesn't apply before she's 3, and therefore she is okay. So now, Rav Nachman is now asking a pasuk, and he's asking it from Rava. Give me 1 second to try and do something here. And what's the question? The question is as follows. Hi Kro, this pasuk that we just described, Reisha bekohen Godol, the Sefer bekohen Hediot. The beginning of the pasuk seems to be talking about a Kohen Godol, and the end seems to be talking about a Kohen Hediot, about a simple Kohen, right? Why is that? Because look at the pasuk. What does the pasuk say? Oh, Baruch Hashem. The pasuk says as follows. Yes, sorry, I apologize for the ikuv. Weiter. The pasuk says as follows. It says Almono grusha lo yikochu, right? Okay. And ki besulois. The beginning of the pasuk says they should not marry anybody except for besula. They should not marry an almona. Who does that apply to? Not to marry a widow. What kind of Kohen? Kohen Godol, right? And then later on it says that they're allowed to marry almonos. Yeah, it says in the pasuk, "Almona asher tieh almona b'kohen yikochu." That's the second part of the pasuk which we didn't read before. They're allowed to marry an almona who is an almona of a Kohen. That's very, very strange. A Kohen can only marry almona of another Kohen. That we never heard in our lives. The Cheskel can't kivyochel make up such a thing. Elamai, we're going to deal with explanation what that means, but surely it's telling me that they are allowed to marry almona. Who's that? That's obviously not Kohen Godol. That's Kohen Hediot. So what's going on here? The pasuk seems to be talking first about a Kohen Godol. They should not marry almona, and then it's telling you they should marry almona. What are we talking about? If we're talking about a Kohen Godol, then what's the story? The beginning makes sense. Kohen Hediot. The end of the pasuk makes sense. Reisha b'Kohen Gadol v'Sefer b'Kohen Hediot. Yeah, does it make sense to you that the pasuk starts with one kind of subject and finishes off with another subject? Omerlei in yes, yes. Enochinami. The pasuk at the beginning talks about Kohen Gadol who is not allowed to marry Almona. Finishes off with a Kohen Hediot that is allowed to marry Almona but not Grusha. The now he keeps asking him, asks the Gemara because of Kohachi. Is that the style of the pasuk? Would the pasuk just write to start with subject A and then subject B without preparing us? So smoothly, elegantly, move from one subject to the other. Omer in, yes. Sometimes Psukim talk about two different things without pre-warning us. Dichtiv. It says in the pasuk about Shmuel Novi, when he started his nevuah career, how did it happen? It says, V'ner Eloikim terem yichbe, v'Shmuel shoichev be'echal Hashem. It says before the Ner Eloikim, before the candles of the menorah, where did Shmuel stay when he was very young? In Mishkan Shiloh. When he was in Shiloh, and then what happened? There was the Ner Elokim terem yichbe, the menorah, which was in the Mishkan, wasn't yet extinguished, wasn't yet put out, and Shmuel was lying in Heichal Hashem. That's interesting. Shmuel was sleeping, lying by himself, lying down in the sanctuary of Hashem. There's a problem with Shmuel sleeping or even lying down in Heichal Hashem. Why? There's a famous halacha, Ein yeshiva ba'azor ela lemalchei beis David bilvad. It says that the only people allowed to sit in the Azorah, in Beis HaMikdash, are who? Are only kings from the Davidic dynasty. Interesting, not even Kohanim. Kohanim are not allowed to sit in Beis HaMikdash. Clearly, Israelim are not allowed to sit in Beis HaMikdash. Who are the only people who can sit in Beis HaMikdash? Malchei Beis David. There was a big machloikis of Yerovam and Rechavam. That's why Yerovam started his own religion, because they didn't let him sit in Beis HaMikdash, because he's not from David. That was in Sanhedrin Kufiyut something. So now, wait a second. If people who are, even Levim, Shmuel was a Levi, right? Even Levim like Shmuel, a big Novi and a big Levi, cannot sit in Beis HaMikdash or the Mishkan, Shiloh. How is he lying down? That's even worse. He's lying on the floor. Yeah, what's going on here? Ella must be. Ner Eloikim must be, the pasuk shall be read this way. This is how you should read the pasuk. Ner Eloikim terem yichbe beichal Hashem, u'Shmuel shoichev bimkoimoi. Very good. The Ner Eloikim terem yichbe, you know where? You know where the candle of Hashem was? Where did the candle of Hashem, where was it alight? The Heichal Hashem. The words Heichal Hashem refer to the Ner, because that obviously took place. The candles, the menorah was in the Mishkan, and they were lit. But Shmuel Shechavim Koimoi, and Shmuel wasn't lying down in Heichal Hashem. He was lying down in the section of the Levim. Where were the Levim located? Last week's parsha. They were all around the Mishkan or around the Mikdash. There were places for the Levim to guard. Yeah, they would stay there, divided also to Mishmoris. So the Levi, such as Shmuel, he was lying down. It was absolutely fine, right outside in the Levi section, in the Levi's dormitory, outside outside the Mishkan Shiloh. Okay, that's fine, that's good. But then Chinami, the pasuk may break it down, may be broken down to two different sections without any pre-warning. Now that's right. By the way, memory test. No. Where did we mention this pasuk? Not that long ago, at the beginning of the parak, we mentioned the pasuk about Shmuel being born while the candle of Hashem wasn't yet put out. Meaning, yeah. Whoever says the right answer gets a trip to Gibraltar. Where did we quite recently mention the pasuk about Shmuel? Yeah, that Shmuel was lying down in Eichel Hashem while the candle of Hashem was still lit, alight. Where did we mention it recently, and in which context? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. No. I got the ticket. And that is, we said that the tzaddik, Hashem makes sure that before a tzaddik is nifter, before a tzaddik passes away from the world, there's another tzaddik being born. That's in Ein Beis Amud Beis in the top of the page. And one example is Eli. The Ner Eloikim here, it means the candles of the menorah, but it's a mashal, yeah. The allegory is to Eli. Before Eli was nifter, not so long before Eli was nifter, Shmuel's sun was rising. What? That's actually mentioned in the Avodah Zarah. The Avodah Daf Yud, I think. Now we have to deal with the second part of the pasuk. The second part of the pasuk is startling because what does it say over there? Va'almona shaltia almona mikoin yikochu. That's a very strange pasuk. Reading, translating into modern English, almona shaltia almona mikoin yikochu. Almona, which was widowed from a kohen, they should marry. Psh. It sounds like, the almana, they have like their own pool of VIPs. A kohen may only marry an almana of another kohen. That we've never heard of such a thing. Yechezkel is not mechadish of such amazing things. A kohen gadol may not marry any almana, and a kohen hedyot may also marry an almana of anybody, of any kosher Jewish person. So what are you talking about? As the Gemara asks, mikohen in misroy loy. Now get the question. From a kohen they may marry, misroy they may not marry. We're obviously talking, let's opt, as we said before, the second part of the pasuk talks about regular kohanim. Regular kohanim may marry almanas of any kosher person, any Jew, they can marry the almana of him. Why are you saying only from kohanim? Achikama. By the way, there is an opinion that says that a melech may only marry an almana of another melech. It's a bit hard because technically there's such a thing in Sanhedrin, some vague memory. Achikama, but this is what it says: Mikoyen yikochu, meaning Mish'al kohanim yikochu. That means to say, Mikoyen, not an almana of a kohen. It means from amongst the kohanim. The pasuk is coming to stress and tell me from within the kohanim, Mikoyen doesn't mean an almana of a kohen, that a husband was a kohen and he died. It means to say from the group of kohanim, from amongst that pool of people called kohanim, they may marry an almana, meaning excluding the kohen gadol. The kohen gadol is mentioned at the beginning of the pasuk, only a besula. That's kohen gadol. Mi kohanim, mi kohen, whoever is from amongst that group called kohanim, they may all marry almanos. Tanya nami hachi, and there's a brisa to support that. Mi kohen yikochu, mish'al kohanim yikochu. The other kohanim, all the other kohanim, except for the one and only kohen gadol, they may marry an almana. Yechezkel was basically mechadish, not mechadish. He's giving us a rundown of halachas of kohanim. Rabbi Yehuda comes and tells us a chiddush. Before we explain what Rabbi Yehuda says, let's remember out of the four opinions, Rabbi Yehuda says that a daughter of a ger and a bas Yisrael, and Shulchan Aruch says the other way around too. Yeah, in other words, if one of the parents is a ger, right, was megayer, or the son of a ger and a geiris is a pure ger, either him or his grandparents were all geirim. If one of the parents is a, so to speak, pure ger, even though the other one is Israel, let's say the mother is Israelis, jinx, nix, the girl, the daughter may not marry a Kohen. That's the opinion of Rabbi Yehuda. He's the most machmir. Okay? So now Rabbi Yehuda has something to say. Here comes Rabbi Yehuda's big moment. Says Rabbi Yehuda, you know what it means when we said they should only marry almanas of kohanim? It's almost right. What does it mean? Mina mesiim lekehuna yikochu. They may only marry a kohen, a regular kohen head that wants to marry almana. Bevakasha gezun tehed. Can only marry from kohanim. No, he can marry an almana of Yisrael, providing her husband was a person whose daughter may marry a kohen. Not so complicated, right? In other words, let's say that almana, her husband, or let's directly talk about her. If her daughter cannot marry a kohen because her dead husband, her now dead husband, because of him, her daughter may not marry a kohen, she too cannot marry a kohen. We spoke about it before. If a girl cannot marry a kohen, then her mother cannot marry a kohen either. And who does that exclude? Well, it could be all kinds of things. Rabbi Yehuda is now celebrating. What does Rabbi Yehuda say? Again, the mother is the daughter and a granddaughter of a Rosh Yeshiva with the Ichuster B'Kiva Eger, but the father was born Mackenzie, right? The daughter of that Mackenzie and daughter of Rosh Yeshiva, their daughter cannot marry a Kohen according to Rabbi Yehuda, and therefore the Almana herself, she was born Jewish. She is Jewish from Moshe Rabbeinu. If she was married to a ger, she may not marry a Kohen herself. Daughter and mother of the same halacha. And that's what the pasuk is telling us, according to Rabbi Yehuda. And continues the Gemara will say it much better than me. Rabbi Yehuda letaime. Rabbi Yehuda is following his own reason. Rabbi Yehuda is reading the pasuk the way he understood all along. That the Omar, what does the pasuk mean? Bas ger zochor. A bas ger zochor, a daughter of a male ger, even though the mother was born Jewish. Kebas cholol zochor. She has the same halacha like a bas cholol. Now everyone agrees that a daughter of a cholol cannot marry a kohen. That's not debatable. he extended it also to a ger. And he continues and he says the rule which we saw some time ago. Kol shatanoise bitoy atanoise almanosoi. That man, the man is the X, the variable in the formula. Whoever, if Mr. X, you may marry his daughter, you may also marry his widow. Because if he may not marry his daughter, you may not marry his ex-wife, his almono, he's now dead. I.e., just like the daughter of a ger may not marry a Kohen, so to the almono of a ger may not marry a Kohen. Now, I'm not saying that's halacha, that's according to Rabbi Yehuda. Actually, it reads now very, very nicely in the Pasuk. Because if you look now at the Pasuk, it's very, very nice. Why? Because it says the Kohen Godol, yeah, if you remember that all four opinions argued about the first part of the Pasuk. The first part of the Pasuk was Mizera Beis Soil. What's Zera Beis Soil? Four explanations. Either Zera, the mother, Zera, one of them, either one of them, both of them, v'chulei, or Zera was conceived, Zera, sperm, v'chulei, or Zera that she became old, right? Now, according to Rabbi Yehuda, it says, look, I'm reading the pasuk very nicely. It's telling you, Mizera Beis Yisrael. If you're scratching your head, what means Zera Beis Yisrael? The second part of the pasuk is explaining to the first part. It's telling you that only almanos of people who may, right, marry the Kohanim, the almanos also may marry a Kohen. The second part is revealing the first part. Now, Rabbi Yossi Omer, let's now get towards the end of the explanation of the Mishnah. Rabbi Yossi Omer, Af ger shenoso gioires. Rabbi Yossi is more mekel. Rabbi Yossi is opinion number 3, right? There was an opinion that the most machmir is Rabbi Yehuda. Yeah, let's see it again in the Mishnah. I want to read it again in the Mishnah inside. There are the 4 opinions. Yeah, we have it here. 1 second. Yeah. So we saw that. Yeah. Rabbi Yehuda says, Rabbi Yehuda is the first opinion, which we just saw now. Even if one parent is a ger, bad news. Second opinion, Rabbi Lezer ben Yaakov. Rabbi Lezer ben Yaakov says that if the mother is Jewish, then it's good enough. Rabbi Lezer ben Yaakov says even if the mother was born Jewish, yeah, even if the father is ger, it's fine, it's good. Yeah. Here we're going to read the third opinion of Rabbi Yossi. Ger shenoso gioires. What does Rabbi Yossi hold? Even if both parents are geirim, Zera means if she was conceived when they were Jewish already, then she's okay for a Kohen. The fourth opinion is Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, who says even the girl herself was Megayer before she was 3 years old, it's okay, right? Now let's deal with the opinion of Rabbi Yossi versus Rabbi Yossi versus Rabbi Lezer ben Yaakov. Yes, okay, let's see. Amar v'imnuna mishmei de'ula, halachik Rabbi Yossi. Okay, so Rabbi Menuna quoting Ula says halachik Rabbi Yossi. What does that mean practically? You have a friend who's a Kohen, he suggested a shidduch. What's the girl's last name? We know. Now, when was she conceived? Oh, there were geirim. There were Megayer before the Chasana even. There were Megayer before the Chasana. She learned in Ihat and he learned in Eshet Torah. Very nice. Such beautiful, amazing people. Right? And what? Very nice. They were Megayer properly, Madrin, Hadrin, everything. And then they gave birth. Then she was conceived, born. Bevakasha says Rabbi Yossi, she may marry Mr. Kaplan. Good. Now, and that's halacha, says who? Says Rabbi Nun Mishmei De'ula. According to one Gilsa, he's quoting Rabbi Yochanan. Halacha Rabbi Yossi. So let's get this straight. Me'ikar adin, if we pass in that way, a daughter of a ger and a geiris conceived after, not before, may marry a Kohen. However, interesting, dafka after the Churban, we want to maintain more Kedusha for the Kohanim, right? Think about it. People don't know, why does it apply today, all the halachas of Kohanim? All the more so. We're looking and we're searching and we're waiting for Beis Hamikdash to be born. The Chofetz Chaim says, Mashiach is going to call the Kohanim, no, get to work. They'll have to know how to do the avodah. The Chofetz Chaim learned the halachas. He said, I'm going to have to work in Beis Hamikdash to serve. So Miyam Shechor Beis Hamikdash, the Kohanim actually became more machmir, and Nagu Kohanim silsul be'atzman. Silsul is a humra, like a hidur. Rashi says a maila. Kohanim were misalsel. They beautified themselves halachically. Lesalsel is like to beautify, like the hair. The salsel, they made themselves more beautiful. Yes, I know. Like, you know, but it means really beautification in a way. Yeah. Here, they were mehader. They were mehader more. They created another hidur. And what? Rabbi Lezer ben Yaakov. They were basically machmir to hold the Rebbe Lezer ben Yaakov. What does Rebbe Lezer ben Yaakov hold? That if both parents are geirim, that's bad news. It's not allowed, even if she was conceived after. One parent, at least one of the two, actually, to make sure, either mother or father, as long as one of them was born Jewish from Jewish born parents, it's good enough. But if both are geirim, it's not good. More machmir, and that's what the Kohanim do. Okay, I'm not yet going halacha l'maisa, but according to him, the Kohanim were machmir upon themselves, accepted the chumrah upon themselves, that if a girl was born from a ger and a geiris, then they would not marry her. Amar of Nachman, 1 second please. Amar of Nachman, Amar li Huna. Now Rav Nachman is giving us halacha l'maisa. Amar li Huna. Huna told me. Rav Nachman was very friendly with Rav Huna. Called him Huna. Yeah. Amar li Huna, quoting Rav Nachman. Pali molech. If a Kohen comes and asks you the question, ask the rabbi. He goes to the rabbi, to the Orthodox rabbi, and he asks him, I'm a Kohen, may I marry that girl? I was suggested a shidduch. It says in the CV, Mackenzie McKinley, yeah, and what? And she was conceived, as it says in the CV, conceived after they were geirim. That's what they wrote in the CV. May I marry such a girl? So lechatchila, we say, no, I don't advise that. Lechatchila, we tell you don't marry her. You should marry somebody with at least one Jewish-born parent. Let's say he already married her. It's a fait accompli. It's v'di'evad. Yeah, he already married. The Kohen already married a girl whose both parents are geirim, conceived bekashrus. V'di'evad. He comes to us, and we know already there's such a Kohen in the community who married a girl born to geirim. Ein motzim oisa mimenu kel b'oisi. But the Eved, we don't force him to, and I don't know if we even encourage him, we don't make him divorce her. But the Eved, if he married her, then we're making a Rabbi Yossi, which Meikar Din is the halacha. And I saw the Shulchan Aruch last night, yeah, Motzei Shavuos, and that's the halacha. The halacha is that lechatchila, a Kohen should not marry a girl born to geirim on all sides, yeah, even third or fourth generation. I want to stress that. Let's say they're all geirim married into each other. Like some communities in South America, they're like that. I know in Colombia, in Central America, they're all geirim and they're married into each other. So even though her great-great-parent was parents were geirim on both sides, still she may not marry lechatchila. Lechatchila, don't marry the Kohen, right? No, don't. In his next trip to South America, don't take a girl from there. The Shenken, but the Eved, if he married her, then we let them stay together in the kosher. And the Chorah, the kids are not halalim either, pashtus, because it's kosher, but the Eved, so I don't think it's halalus. It's only a kabbalah, the Kohanim were machmir. Okay? Lechatchila, a Kohen should make sure, if he wants to marry somebody with some non-Jewish blood, that's not originally non-Jewish, then at least one parent has to come from a Jew that was originally Jewish from the time immemorial. Are you good, happy? Yeah, what's your question? Next Mishnah, but first time for questions. Yes. Questions are welcome, kind of, right now. Zok, the next Mishnah. There's the next Mishnah. Again, we're talking here about recognizing a mamzer. Just to prepare for the next few days, this is, we're getting towards the end of the Masechta. We're going to have, as far as I remember, like 2 Mishnayos about, more about mamzeres. In Daf Pei, which is not that long from now, we're going to start learning about Yichud. Very interesting and very nagal halacha. In Daf Pei's Pei Amud Beis, we're going to learn about Yichud. Yichud, the prohibition of a man and a woman to be together in a private area, in a closed room or in the forest. Very, very nagal halacha. And this is the end of the Masechta. But as of now, we still have a few Mishnayos about the mamzalach. Oimer b'ni ze mamzer. This Mishnah is very, very easy and yet very unclear in a way. The question is, what happens when a person blurts out in the middle of life about his son that he's a mamzer? Now, so before we continue, you have to understand, and I've seen them before Shem here back and forth, we're either talking here about an assumed father who has a nice Jewish family with a black kippah on their head, and all of a sudden he tells them in the middle of life, this son of mine is a mamzer. The one which you thought is my son is not really my son. I know that he's a son of next door neighbor and my wife. Yeah, it's some kind of difficult moment in her marriage. Yeah, so that could be pshat. Or however, b'ni ze mamzer means no, it's the neighbor who says, right? A person says, this is really my son. You think that he's Mr. X, the son is me. He's not my neighbor, right? So we have to understand what's going on. In either case, Oimer b'ni ze mamzer eino ne'eman. A person who says about a certain boy, this is my son, the mamzer, is not believed. Why? Says Rashi, and that's an argument between the Rishonim. Rashi says the korov hu etzloi ve'enokosher loid olov. He's a korov, which means either he is related to him. He says, "This is my son," and he's a mamzer. If you're saying this is your son, you're saying that you are related to him. You can't give edus on your own son because, right? It's before the Torah. What? Yeah. He's related. He's his father. Why? No, no. If he's saying he's a real father, however, if it's the not, that's one option. If he says I had relations with an Eshet Ish, and that's my son, and he's a mamzer, right? Maybe he's a Rosha. You can't accept his edus because he's a Rosha. It's not. It was a mistake. I thought she wasn't married. I thought she was my wife. She looks like my wife. It was an honest mistake. It could be. No, there's such cases in halacha. So then, yeah, it was poor in Purim time, right? So then it was onus. I don't know. The kids are so he's not Naaman. And if he's an assumed father, the Rashash says that even a stepfather who raised him as if he was a son is also called a korov. Yeah, a stepfather, big chiddush. Even though he's not biologically his father, a stepfather may not be made on his son. Interesting. He brings the down from the Gemara Sanhedrin, yeah, from the third bag. The kids are the father, either the assumed father or the real father, are not believed to say about his son is a mamzer. Seemingly, now Rashi says one reason, which is going to change later, because why? He's a relative. Now continues the Mishnah. Va'afilu shnehem moidim ala uber shebemea mamzeru einem ne'emonim. Let's say both father and mother say about an unborn uber. There are two changes here in the Mishnah. Both father, whichever father, the real or the fake, and the mother, she's the mother, she's pregnant. They both point at her, her stomach, and they say, the one inside here is a mamzer. They're not believed. The question is, what's the chiddush? What are we adding here? Two things. He's not yet born, and also the mother is in the story. Even in such a case, they're not believed. The Gemara will explain why that is a bigger chiddush, because women anyhow are not ne'eman for edus. Rabbi Yehuda Omer ne'emonim, or ne'eman. Rabbi Yehuda says there's one girsa ne'eman, which means the father is always believed to say about his son that he's a mamzer. Okay, now that's a chiddush, and then we're talking, according to Rabbi Yehuda, clearly about the assumed father. The head of a family may say, this is my son, this is my b'chor, and this one is a mamzer. And that is going to be the issue later on. Says the Gemara. It's an issue which we've seen a few times, and we'll see it again. Correct the Gemara. Why is the Gemara technical question to the point? Because we're going to talk about it. Correct the Gemara. What does it mean, even both father and mother, yeah? Both of them were made that he is a mamzer. Why is that a chiddush? Well, what's the Mishnah trying to tell me here? Zog the Gemara, I'll tell you the chiddush. Lo mi bai ka'omar. We're coming to say, not lo mi bai, needless to say. Lo mi bai, needless to say. Ihu, the father, deloi kimle. The father of the head of the family. How does he know that his wife had relations with the other guy? Does he know that? Well, he doesn't know. And even if he knows she had an affair, chas v'shalom, with another guy, how does he know she got pregnant from him? He doesn't know, right? Unless he's black or Chinese. I don't know. Let's say it's not the case. Yeah. He doesn't know as much. Oh, even, okay, I hear what you're saying, but in most cases, right, sometimes the father would know. In most cases, the father does know as much as Ella, I'm continuing on purpose, afilu the kimla. The mother knows. The mother knows. She knows when she had relations with Lo Leinu, the other guy, with her husband, with this and that. She's keeping track more or less, and she knows the whole month she only had relations with Reuven, not with Shimon, and then she was conceived. She went to the pharmacy. She checked. She knows much better. Even she, who, although she's not kosher le'edus, but technically she knows her stuff. Loi meheimna. She's still not believed. Why? Because again, says Rashi. Now Rashi comes with the punchline. Look at the second Rashi in the Gemara. Yeah. Here Rashi is lichoyer changing his tune, and it's a discussion here in the Rishonim. Basically, even not only in the Reisha, when the father is related and just one aid was a relative, is a joke. Even in the Seifa, as you said, she knows she was on holiday. She knows clearly who she had relations with, and she says, technically, you believe a woman's edus. You should know that. Nevertheless, only edus gmura, only edus of two edim is the edus that can passel someone. When would you have an edus of two edim on a mamzer? You could Let's say two Edim know that Rochel was married to Reuven with an Edus, and they know that she never got a get. Let's say there is such. Let's say we know there is no get given, and they know that she married Shimon without a get from Reuven. Then we know it's mamzeros. Yeah, they don't have to know about her intimate life, but they know about the Edus. So if you have two Edim that the guy is a mamzer, then he's a mamzer. But other than that, even though it's very likely, the mother says, "Listen, I know. I'm ashamed to say. Hopefully, she's ashamed of herself." And I had relations with the other guy, and that was I was with him in Lonely Island only in the holiday, only him, and only there got pregnant. We still don't believe her. Why? Because in order to passel a person, you should need edus finished, and that's said and done. That's it. The lomi baye. Now comes another chiddush. Lomi baye hecha de isle chazaka de kashrus de lomi hemni. Did you realize we only discussed one of 2 points? The Sefer talks about the man and the woman talking, and also they talk about an unborn baby. They talk about a fetus, right? Which means not only when the baby was already born, it became part of the community. Baby is born, he goes to Gan, stove room, pays down to here, the frumest trader in the world, and he's assumed to be a kosher member of the community. He's already born, he's already there, existing as a kosher person. To change the chet word, what's the chet word? Chazaka, chazaka. To change his chazaka, his status, of course they're not believed. He's already born. Ela afilu uber nami deleis lechazaka de kashrus lo mehemni. And uber doesn't yet have cheskas kashrus. People don't see the uber running around. The uber, we don't know, boy, girl, what will he live? Will he die? Will he have a nose? Will he have mouth? We don't know, right? It's not yet an entity, an uber. People don't relate to it as a person, right? And mimela, when you have an uber, there's no chazaka of kashrus. Ooh, so before chazaka was created, before chazaka bichlal was created, maybe then they're believed to say, hey, stop, stop, stop. Before you relate to our baby as kosher, we will one-up you. We will proceed and say that this baby is a mamzer. Kamash Malan, they're not believed. Why not? Simple. Because to passel a person either before or after chazaka, you can't disqualify a person unless it's mamash edu. Very good. Okay? Maybe it can be choishesh. Yeah, maybe it can be choishesh. You asked me a question, Ellen, if, let's say, do you have to tell people? I don't know. Maybe if there's a chashash mamzerus, yeah, strong chashash. I heard of a case. I'm not laughing now, sadly. Somebody told me that there are non-from neighbors in Ramat Gan. It's like almost 100% sure that the kid's a mamzer. He said the woman's husband was away and she gave birth 9 months later and looks exactly like another neighbor. Yeah, they're not religious. And no, my cousins are from, but they had neighbors like that. He gave her all the curses in the world. So basically, no. So then at least it's a very strong chashash. I wouldn't recommend people to marry that guy. He's anyhow not religious. I don't know exactly what they listen to. But there's no edus. There's no edus. So I don't know what the status is exactly. But to mamish decide his mam's 100%, you need to have edus of 2 edim, and you don't. Yes, Rabbeinu. I'm listening. To be continued. Rabbi Yehuda Omer Ne'emonim. Kedetanya. Rabbi Yehuda says, voila, Ne'emonim. By the way, the gear says Ne'eman. The father is believed to say, even the assumed father is believed to say that one who was assumed up until now to be my son is really a mamzele. And that is a chiddush. But what's the chiddush? Well, we all know about that. Kedetanya, we learned it already twice. Yakir. Yeah, it says, when the parsha tells you that a bechor gets double portion, it says, even though the one you don't love so much, the son of the hated wife, he is the one who's a bechor. Yakir loses lo pishnaim. You have to recognize him and give him double portion. The Yerusha, he gets it automatically. And the question obviously is, what's yakir? What do you mean to recognize? Which recognition does he need? He is the firstborn, right? Who needs to recognize? Yeah, I don't have to recognize that I have 2 ears, Baruch Hashem. What's recognition? Elamai yakirenu la'acherim. He's the one who's mechadesh, yeah, who's telling the world, who's declaring to the world that his son is a bechor, which again is a question. What's the chiddush? Didn't you know he was a bechor? Mikan Omar Biuda Neman Odom Loimer Zebni bechor. And father is the one Neman to say, soon we'll see when, to say this son of mine is a bechor. Here comes a real chiddush. Ukashem sheneman Odom Loimer Zebni bechor. Kach Neman Odom Loimer Zeben Grusha v'Zeben Chalutza. You know, the Moshe David gives a very, very excellent chabur about Kohanim. Anybody wants to learn anything about Kohanim, stop, break for commercials. The Moshe David Kohen, the very big Talmud Chacham here, gives the whole course of all of Hilchas Kohanim that apply today. Unbelievable, live or on internet, right? So I recommend this course. What? Just in Zoom. Just in Zoom. So since we're learning about Kohanim, I highly recommend to join the course if you're a Kohen or if you want to be a Kohen. You learn how to be a Kohen. You get the PhD. What? Conversion course. At the end, you'll become a Kohen. Weiter. So let's continue. Sorry, let's continue. Just like a person may say, this is my son, the B'chor, which means Rabbi Yehuda learns two things. First of all, according to Rabbi Yehuda, in many cases, the father doesn't have to tell you that it's a B'chor. We know it's a B'chor. Elamai, the Torah is extending, the Torah is telling me something bigger and much more general. The Torah is telling me the father, as we said many times, with the Hezber, Rosh Yeshiva, Tzvi Kushlevsky, the father is like the dine in his own house. He is a poisek. And he paskins that this is a B'chor or that this is Ben Grusha Ben Chalutza. If he's a Kohen and he says, this son of mine came to me is a result of relations with a Grusha on Chalutza, and he's a Cholol, that's a Chiddush, because we never knew that. He has a few children. We assumed they all came from kosher wife. No, this one came from a Grusha Chalutza, or my wife, that my wife of mine was Grusha. That's a Chiddush. Or remember what we saw in the Gemara not long ago? Let's say that the father has 5 children. And he says, you know, the one which is my third son is really my first son. He's a b'chor. Means that the first 2 ones are mamzerim because they were married already, right? And the father has ne'emanus to say that. So see, the yakir is extended to beyond b'chora, right? Even to say he's a ben grusha ben chalutza, even to say he's a mamzer. And that's a chiddush. The Nakama holds not like that. The Nakama says that a father is not believed to say that my son is a mamzer or ben grusha. You cannot disqualify your own son. You cannot. You're a koroiv, hazaka, edus. No, it falls under the regular category of edus. You don't have the manus. It's opposed to who? It's opposed to Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yehuda says no. Yakir means not only b'chor, b'chor and beyond, B and B, b'chor and beyond. Anything else you can say about your son, even to disqualify him, even though you're related. Boom. Even though he has chazaka, the man is 30 years old, and you're saying he's not my b'chor or he is my b'chor. It's a big chiddush. Yes, it's a chiddush. The Torah gives us this chiddush. The father is in charge. He's ne'eman. Let's refresh our memories. The miyaledes, the midwife, in case of twins, let's say, she can say this is a b'chor and this is not. The mother till the bris. From the bris till the end of life, it's the father who is believed to say who's a b'chor and who's not. The chachomim arim einu ne'eman. Oh, chachomim, who are chachomim in our Mishnah, they say no. The father's ne'emanus is only limited to b'chor, as we say, Rashi says, but to say all kinds of nasty things about your son, to say that he's a mamzer ben grusha, then you're not believed. Oh, and that brings a question. According to Rabbi Yehuda, it makes sense according to Rabbi Yehuda, according to Rabbi Yehuda, that's what I tried to hint to you before. The Torah says, he shall recognize him as a b'chor. Big news. He's recognized as a b'chor. Well, what's the big news recognized as a b'chor? In most cases, you know who's a b'chor. According to Rabbi Yehuda, I understand the Torah picked an example, one out of many. To say your son is a mamzer, that's big news. It's dramatic and it's very halachic. To say your son is a ben grusha, he's coming to Pasel, that's big news, and that's a chiddush of the Torah. Ela leRabbanon, but according to Rabbanon, yakir lamali. Why does the Torah have to tell me that he's declaring his son is a b'chor? What's a chiddush? Bishlama, if you tell me yakir is coming as an example to tell me that my third son is my first son. Wow. These are headlines with big halachic ramification. The first kids are mamzerim. But if you're just telling me that my son is a b'chor, and we assume that up until now he was a b'chor, lamali. Yeah, what's a chiddush then? The man has 2 sons, one 31 and one 9. Of course, the 31 years old is a b'chor, and the 9 years old is not a b'chor. So what's a chiddush? Must be, Rabbanon will tell you, when does the father have to recognize and is believed that what he declares is a b'chor, when heker is needed. Says Rashi, for example, he came from Medina Sayam. His long lost son came from Timbuktu, from I don't know, Ecuador. Came his son from somewhere. Yeah, a son came to the family. We never knew they had another son. Oh, that's cool. There was no chazaka. We didn't know about the existence of the son. The father hugs him and kisses him and says, "Oh, welcome back home, my dear Bechor. I'm now declaring to the world you're Bechor." Nobody knew that. Yeah, maybe he has another son who's about the same age. And there's no Tudat Zehut in that other country. Yeah. So we don't know the age. And there's no Chazaka either. So now the father is telling us, you're now questioning which son is my Bechor, the one, my 30 years old, which up until now you were sure is my Bechor, or the one who just came from Ecuador. I'm telling you that the one who just came back from South America, which would never seen him since from 30 years ago, is 31. And the one whom you thought was my Bechor is only 30, and he's the second one. And that's a big Kiddush. We're breaking an existing Chazaka. Oh, and that is a big Kiddush. Yeah, the 30 years old for 30 years was Muchzak to be a Bechor. Now the 31 is all of a sudden the Bechor, a new kid in town. Yeah. And the father can do that and say that and declare that. That's for sure is a Kiddush. Now, now we're getting a little bit lumped over here. Lemai hilchasa. What's halacha? Practically, what's an afkamina, whether the kid is a bchor or not? Yeah, maybe pidyon a ben, I don't know. He did pidyon a ben. No, he would tell you did 2 wives, each one. What? Lemai hilchasa. Losses lo pishnaim, of course. Losses lo pishnaim. Nice. Yeah. In other words, the only nafkamina is 3 nafkaminas: kesef, money, and geld. The only nafkamina here is if he gets double portion, we'll get 2 million or 1 million. Okay. If so, shita, then what's the chiddush? Lama likro. Why do you need a posuk to tell me that the father can say about a long lost son, he's a bchor, and therefore he will get double the portion after I die? Why do you need a posuk for that? We have a good friend called Migo. In Ecuador, they say amigo. Migo de ibai meit v'le matono. Right? Very good. Milo yahavile question, which means, let's say the father wants to say, I am now writing a will, which is absolutely halachically recognizable and done today by Haredi people also. Yeah. The whole business of Pishnaim is only if you don't have what? You don't have a will. But let's say a person gives a matana. A person gives a matana before his death. The man is old. He doesn't know when he's going to die. I don't know. He's 65, 70. I don't know. He's concerned about his the end. He could have written as a matana, I'm giving him the 2 million now. So Migo, I could have written the new son who came from out there. I could have written that he gets the 2 million and my other son gets the 1 million. Mimele, I can only say the bchor. So what's a chiddush? Again, what's a vort of bchor? Neemonus, right? Credibility. Do I have the credibility to say that my son, the new kid in town, which I'm hugging like my son, do I have a halachic credibility to say is my bchor? Yes. But why do you need the Torah to tell me that? Credibility works very nice with Migo. It's a very cold Litvish Choshen Mishpat issue. It's a Choshen Mishpat case. Migo works a lot. Migo works B'chol Torah Kula. Since I could have given him Enya right now, the man is now, I don't know, 65. He could have given him all the nechosim, double the nechosim. So of course I'm believed to say Zebchor. It's either 2 ways to get to the same end, right? Right? Two means to the same end. So why does the Torah have to mechadish whole posuk yakir? Anyhow, it could have worked. Answers the Gemara. B'nechosim shenoflu la'achar miken. Oh, now let's have a timeline. Imagine yourself there's a whiteboard. There's enough koch to start making a whiteboard. Let's say the nechosim came to him after the great declaration, which means the person doesn't know when he's going to die. That's by the way how to start every will in Hebrew. Since a person does know when he's going to die, therefore I'm writing this will. I don't know in English, but in Hebrew that's accepted. So now, let's say the year is Jewish years, Tafshin Pei. Tafshin Pei is 4 years ago. You know that? Tafshin Pei, the man, the son comes, the long lost son. Oh, you bubale, sweetie, you're my bchor. You are the one beloved bchor. So glad to see you back. Beautiful. Very nice. So now what are we saying? What do you have to declare as a bchor? Right? Right now the man has 2 million in the bank. You could have written 2 million to him. Hey, wait a second. We are prophets. We know that the guy will die in Tafshin Pei Dalet. He doesn't know that, but we watch the movie from the side. It's Tafshin Pei. Yes, he's writing to him all the nechosim. He will die in Tafshin Pei Dalet. You know that in Tafshin Pei Beis, the father who's still alive will win the lottery and get a promotion at work, and his rich uncle from California is going to die. He's going to get 10 million between the declaration of a bchor and the death in Tafshin Pei Dalet. Yeah. Between the declaration, this is my bchor, and the death will get much more money. That's enough kamina. Itzad the matana, He can only give him what? He can give him what he has in his hands. Right now in Tafshin Pei, he has 2 million. In Tafshin Pei Beis, 2 years later, he's going to get 10 more million, and then he's going to die. The other 10 million, you can't give him a tono because ein odo makne dovo shelo baloilim. Do I have to translate that to English? No. Okay, but I will. A person cannot give anything that he doesn't yet own, didn't come to the world. Okay? And therefore, that's enough kamina. You're telling me, no, who cares whether it's a b'chor or not? Anyhow, I could have given him double of my entire money. No, but there is money between now and your death you're not aware of. You will get, even if you know you will get it, or you assume you'll get it, because you think your uncle will die, you're going to win the lottery or something. Still, you can't give something which is not in your hands. And therefore, we need the Chiddush Torah. Why? The Torah is telling me even stuff you cannot give him now, even money, which from the point you're standing now in Tafshin Pei does not yet exist in your pocket. You still say it's a b'chor. Once you said he's a b'chor, you gave him the key to become the main heir in Tafshin Pei Hey when you're going to die, right? And then in Achinami, then you'll have 12 million, you'll get Pishnaim. That's a Chiddush, of course. That's very simple. Right now, you can only give him what you have. The shaken, once he's a b'chor, you say no. Whether I'll die in 5 years' time, in 10 years' time, or 15 years' time, whether I'll have 10 million or 15 million, I gave you the card. I gave you the key. I gave you the member card to be a b'chor. Boom. Then whatever happens, once I die, you'll get 2 million. That's a huge nafkamina. Before questions are welcome when you get to the Mishnah in 3 lines. Wait till Rabbi Meir. This is all very nice, but it's not nice according to Rabbi Meir. Rabbi Meir, which we saw in Daf Samech Beis and Samech Gimel, what did we see in Daf Samech Beis and Maseches Kiddushin? The Omar Odom Makne Dovo Shelo Baloilom. Rabbi Meir has his own Chiddush. Rabbi Meir believes that things either are likely to come, not likely to come. It's discussion. Rabbi Meir generally says a big Chiddush. A person may be makne, a person may give over even things that didn't come to the world. I'm giving you rights. I'm giving you now anything. My beloved B'chor, so happy you came back. You're the B'chor. And what do you have to declare as a B'chor? For the future money that's between now, the declaration, and the death, which will be in 5, 10, 15 years? No. According to Rabbi Meir, I can now tell you, listen, my dear son, you're not a B'chor, but I love you the most, and I'm giving you now double in all the nechosim that I will get from now till my death. And you can do it according to Rabbi Meir. So according to Rabbi Meir, let's sharpen the question. Why does the Torah have to tell me, no, father can declare he's a B'chor? What's a big declaration, a mind of Kamina, for double portion after death? So what? What's a Chiddush? I can give him now, all the double portion right now, and all the doubles from all the nechotim, which I will get, all the lotteries I will win, and all the inheritance, and all the promotion at work, and all the bituach lumi money, and all the money from Germany, whatever that is, I'm giving you double in future dividends, and I can do it. So what's the chiddush of a b'chor? A b'chor, even when the man is alive and kicking, can give him double now. So who cares whether it's a b'chor or not a b'chor? It's migo. So why does the Torah have to tell me he can declare as a b'chor, according to the Meir? Answers the Gemara, there's one of Kamina. Again, I'm repeating the question and then the answer. Ul Rabbi Meir domer odom makne dover shelo baloilom. A person may give his son or others even money, even assets which did not yet come to the world. Yakir lamali. What's the chiddush of the big declaration is a b'chor? Just give him double from now and forever till you die. And says the Gemara, shenoflu l'kshu goy says, wow, bam. Even according to Rabbi Meir, there's one caveat here. There's one exception to the rule. Some things you cannot give if they belong to the future. And that is if the person is goises. Goises is what you call in English dying. Not dead and not sick, when he's dying. He's mamish in the process of death. When the person is dying, he's dying, like machines all over, and the line goes, ha, 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 on his deathbed. Yeah, but it means on his deathbed, true. And then when he's on his deathbed, he's a goises called goses in Hebrew, also modern Hebrew. Goises is goses. So then when he's a goises, let's say money came to him then, and then he cannot give it, right? In other words, let's say the person says, I'm giving you all the monies of the future. I'm now 70, but alive and kicking. I go to Shiur every day. I go to the gym every day. I'm 70 years old. I don't know, I'm going to die. All future money I give you, that can work. But there is a moment, which the present cannot deal with that moment in future, and that's the moment of death, of right before dying. Why? Let's say that man will receive money on his deathbed. That could be His father, his uncle, his whatever, his lottery ticket will work when he's on his deathbed. He'll become a millionaire on his deathbed. Sounds like a nice drama. But then, because the person on his deathbed cannot give money to others, he can't function. He can't do a kinyan. He can't talk. He can't do masira. Yeah, can't control the person doing mashicha agbo. You can't be makne things while chas v'shalom after when the person on his deathbed. Mimela, that even according to Rabbi Meir, was very avant-garde. It was very mechadish. You can give future money. That's only true if you're talking about a future in which you can give a kno. So then I can say the future is now. I'm now 70. When I'll be 75, I'll still be functioning. Oh, so whatever I'll give you then, I'm already giving you now. But if at the age of 80 you're on your deathbed, then you can't now give something relating to a moment. In that moment, you will not be able to give and function. Oh, so for that we need the aki. The moment before the death is not a moment you can control before your death, even according to Rabbi Meir. So how will that b'chol get pishnaim in the 20 million that come to him in his death, that the father? Only through declaring his b'chol. Once he declared his b'chol, the sky's the limit. Once he declared his b'chol, he has no limit. Any money that came to the father while he's alive, before or during death, right before the death, automatically, boom. Once the father closes his eyes and gives his soul back to its creator, clearly the Pishnai belongs to the b'chol, only because the father declared his b'chol. Bingo. Now we know that even according to Rabbi Meir, there is essence, there is something essential here by calling your son a b'chol, because there is no other way you can give him the chosim of the deathbed. Yes, Baruch wanted to ask. So the shiur is over, by the way, and thank you for people who watch us on Torah anytime. We hope you enjoy the shiur, and of course also on YouTube. And I want to hear your question. Have a great day. Atzlacha bracha. See you on Sunday. And Sunday next week, there's shiur every day, Be'ezras Hashem. And then Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. If Davar Shalom B'Olam. I hope the Masechta, we should be finishing Masechta Kiddushin, if everything goes well, about not next Tuesday, a week from this Tuesday. Yeah? Should be Siyum. Ellen is graciously agreed to arrange the Siyum, and everybody's going to pay $10,000 to participate in the Siyum. Atzlacha uvracha. Thank you very much.